So what's one thing you regret the most in your life?
My parents are gone. All the money in the world, can't bring that back.
When you see the end is inevitable, then you really begin to wonder.
I would love for my dad to have stuck around longer than he did.
Most people don't know who they are. No matter what you do, it's never going to be enough.
What is something you wanted to say to your parents that you never got a chance to say?
Maybe I could have told her I loved her a little bit more when I was younger.
I'd miss him every day. He was a very positive influence on me.
Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Have you ever wondered what life advice some of the oldest yet wisest people in the world would give you? Well, in this video, I interviewed people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, discussing their biggest regrets, greatest lessons, and advice for the younger generation. Because if we can learn from people older than us to avoid the same mistakes they've already made, then we can live much more fulfilling lives. And after watching this video, I guarantee you'll leave with at least one great takeaway. So let's get into it. How old are you?
65.
What's your secret for looking so great at 65?
Being proactive about taking care of my health and fitness, eating right, getting to the gym, doing all the things you're supposed to do, take care of your physical and mental well-being. Having a young wife is motivating. It doesn't hurt, believe me. Young, nice-looking girl, try to stay healthy for her, yeah. And my kids and my grandkids, but a lot of reasons to take care of yourself.
How old are you?
70.
How does it feel to be 70?
About the same as it was when I was 20, except certain parts don't work as well, especially what's between your legs.
When did that start happening for you?
Oh, maybe 10 years ago. I mean, whatever, gradually. It's not like turn a switch on and off. It just, life goes on, that's what happens.
How does it feel to be 71?
It has its challenges, but I'm thankful to be 71.
What are the challenges?
Physical aches and pains. Life is a roller coaster. It has ups and downs.
What's your process for getting through the hard times?
You know what? Family, support groups is really what makes one get over the hump.
Life is good. I'm happy. I found me at an old age. I didn't realize who I was until I was 65. And I've been looking and looking and looking to see who am I. I was always pleasing everybody around me. I was always trying to make things better for everybody. And after a while, lots of things, happen in your life. You got challenges and all. I found out who I was, and I like myself.
How old are you?
Oh boy, 77.
What's your secret for looking so great at 77?
Good food, nice family. I have sons and grandchildren. The most important thing is respect for one another and don't overdo anything. Just everything in moderation.
How old are you?
70.
How does it feel to be 70?
I feel the same as when I was 12. I think your personality is kind of set by the time you're 12, but you don't have the life experience. But other than that, I don't feel like I've changed inside at all.
What is something you thought was really important when you were younger, but as you got older, you realized it wasn't that important?
Material goods and more money than one really needs. As a younger person, I think, we tend to want to make a lot of money and acquire a lot of material things, have a big house, great car, all those things. And, I realize that's not what life is about. Life's about your relationships, love, and being able to know what abundance really is and what enough means and having enough. It's peaceful. I love being peaceful.
What does abundance mean to you?
Paying the bills when they come in the mail, wanting what we have so that we don't want more, and more than anything, relationships. Quality relationship with family and friends and to take care of yourself.
You don't need a lot of money to be happy in life. You need your health, you need good family, and good friends. My parents are gone. All the money in the world can't bring that back, and all the money in the world can't bring your health. If you're in bed and you can't get out and you have a ton of money, it's not going to get you out of bed.
What is something you thought was really important when you were younger, but as you got older, you realized wasn't that important?
Hanging out with people, partying. We used to do a lot, but anymore you just can't do it.
So what's important to you now?
Staying alive, making arrangements for the end. My heart's no good. I'm on a transplant list. I'm waiting for a new heart. That makes you look at things a lot differently. When you see the end is inevitable, then you really begin to wonder, how come I didn't do this? How come I didn't do that? A lot of your dreams are gone at this point.
You go to school and you tend to think that you're going to go to become something, but really life is a lot more about being really good at whatever you choose and make sure you choose something that you like. And then shit happens. I mean, my dad always told me that it doesn't matter if you're going to be a scientist or an astronaut or a ditch digger, just be the best there ever was. And so that's what I did. I got into the job I'm in now when I was 18, totally by chance, by accident. A guy was lost in a campground. I gave him a place to stay for the night. He told me to go apply at his father's place for a driver. The next day I did, and I was there for almost 50 years. So you just never know. Shit happens. Life happens, luck happens. You can't put that shit together. Just work hard and apply yourself, and then breaks come along. They're not going to be what you expect.
Pleasing my mother, I thought that was so important. But you cannot please somebody because most people don't know who they are. No matter what you do, it's never going to be enough because you shouldn't need to please anybody. You should be able to just be friends or be in a relationship where you don't need to please everybody. You compliment one another.
In what ways did you try to please your mom?
She wanted me to be just so. I could not wear my hair this way. I needed to dress that way. These things that she was ashamed of me. I was who I was. If you are ashamed, it's your problem, not mine. I was comfortable. I'm 75 years old. I still want to wear my bathing suit. It's not permitted in the other culture. You're too old.
Money and a lot of material things that you think are very important, and they're really not. You have to be happy with your family, your husband, your children, and that's all that matters. We think money is everything. Property, jewelry, fancy clothes, but it's just temporary.
I like money, and I've spent a lifetime earning money, accumulating it, but only for the purpose of comfort and convenience, but not to accumulate possessions and jewelry and stuff like that. The most important thing in life is to be happy with the person you are, to accept yourself for who you are, and to be kind to people around you whenever you can.
I thought a career was important at the beginning. I mean, first I was a teacher. I did that for 10 years, and then I got an MBA and thought, okay, I'm going to climb up the corporate ladder. And then I had my son at 40, and I'm like, that doesn't matter so much anymore.
So what does matter?
Family. I think at the end of your life, you're never going to go, oh, gee, I wish I had worked more and spent more time away from the people I love. You know, you're never going to do that.
So what's one thing you regret the most in your life?
That my father didn't live longer. I would love for my dad to have stuck around longer than he did.
What is something you really wanted to say to your dad that you never got a chance to say?
You're the best guy in the world. I love you. You know, thank you for being such a great example. Being such a great guy, great friend, great dad, great husband, but just a great example of how you show up and work hard every day and do the right thing.
So you said your parents are gone?
Yeah, they're gone about 15 years.
What is something you wanted to say to your parents that you never got a chance to say?
Thank you for everything you've done for me. Made me who I was.
I don't know if I have any regrets for things I did. I have more regrets for the things I didn't do. The chance I didn't take. The time I looked at a piece of property and walked away when I should have snatched it up. You know, I think the problem is not taking action.
So what is something you really wanted to do that you held back on?
Well, I'd like to own more property. I'd like to have started a business. I'd like to learn how to do stained glass. There's a lot of things you just can't do anymore. You have dreams, but you just can't act on them. Should have did it 30 years ago.
How does it feel to know that the end is coming soon?
It's scary. In some ways it's comforting. Struggling with health is never good. Makes you look back.
Well, I partied pretty hardy when I was young and probably partied a little too hardy. The rules were a lot different about drugs and alcohol back in the day, so you could drink till you couldn't walk. You could barely crawl, but you could still therefore crawl into your car and drive home. And so that was probably not a good thing.
There's more than one thing I regret. It's a long list. Being a widowed and losing my husband at a younger age, that was a big regret for me because it's a life-changing situation and you have to adjust.
Do you still think about him?
Actually, I had a dream about him last night. Yes, always.
What do you love the most about him?
Made me laugh, showed me a lot of things. We went around the world together. There's a lot of things to remember.
So if you could have a conversation with your past husband, what would you tell him?
You don't want to hear those words.
Why?
You don't want to hear those. Point a blank, did you have to die? But it was inevitable, you know. Nobody knows their future. You only know your past. And when God calls, you got to answer.
Whew, my mom's 95 years old. I've done the best I could with my mom. You know, moms are moms. You only get one mom, you only get one dad. And I've loved my mom. Maybe I could have told her I loved her a little bit more when I was younger versus being a little wild child when I was your age maybe.
What do you love the most about your mom?
She raised us tough. She raised us to be honest. She raised us to be forgiving. She raised us to do the right thing. That's what she always wanted to do. She was the first one to say, do unto others as you want to do to you. You know, turn the other cheek. I used to say right up until someone smacks you, and then she goes, well, then you got to smack them back.
That's good.
You got to do what you got to do.
What is something you really wanted to say to your mom that you haven't told her yet?
I've told my mom everything she needs to know right now at 95. I tell her I love her every time I see her because I never know when the last time's going to be.
Have you ever lost someone you really love?
Yes, my father. He was an advanced age, but I missed him dearly and miss him every day. He was a very positive influence on me.
What is something you really wanted to say to your father that you never got a chance to tell him?
How much I think I have become more like you, Dad, than either I or you could ever have imagined.
What's an experience you've had with your dad that really changed you as a person, that really stands out to you?
When I had been suffering from emotional issues throughout my younger days, my adolescence, and into my 20s, and he never understood. He was not sympathetic or empathic, but there was one day when I was really in a bad way in my first marriage, and I went to him and I was very upset and I was crying, and he finally realized that I was suffering, and he put his arms around me and he said, "I will make it my business to make sure that you get better." And that was a significant moment in my life.
So if you could go back in time and have a conversation with your younger self, what would you tell him?
Take a risk. Something comes up, go for it. If you have a chance, jump on it. Don't sit back and regret that you didn't. In the end, you might fail, but you probably learned something. Failure is the beginning of success, I think.
Be cautious. Don't listen to anybody. And I think 90% is in your stomach. If it feels right, you do it. And if it don't feel right, you don't do it.
Why is that so important?
Because human beings have feelings, and you could feel that, if it's not right and everyone's thinking it's right, and maybe you have a different edge and you don't feel it's right, you don't do it.
Find something you enjoy, go after it, be good at it. If you can get training, if you can go to school, you can education, you can help yourself get better with those things, but you can't pick how your life is going to turn out. My son went to school to be a doctor, and he's a software engineer today. You just don't know where things are going to go.
Finish your school, finish university. Don't be so quick to get married and get involved. Life is one time around, so make the best of it while you can. And listen and learn. Even if I tell you, you put your hand in the fire, it'll burn. Sometimes, you put a little finger in there to see what it feels like to get burnt. You can't walk my path. You have to make your own. And so I told my children when they left, make your own path, your own adventure. Can't live my life. No one can relive my life. I can't relive my life. Each day is an experience.
So if you could give one piece of advice to someone younger than you, what would you say?
Call your mom. Tell her you love her. Call your friends, tell them you love them. Tell everyone that you care about that you care about them, that they're special. Somehow, some way that's a special part of your life. Keep your nose out of your phone and your nose into life and into the fresh air that it gives, because it's a beautiful place.
I would say pass out all these men that wanted to come after you and wait until this guy came along. This is my true soulmate. I would have forgotten all the other guys who just wanted to just kind of date me and tell me all these beautiful things and wait for the real love. We could have had beautiful children together. We could have had a wonderful life.
So how does someone know when they found true love?
True love should not be holding you prisoner. True love should not show jealousy. True love should not show impatience. True love should be communication. All these things that we take for granted, but are they really there?
I would say don't panic about having everything in terms of like finding a husband, that sort of thing. I didn't get married till I was 32, and don't worry about having children early. I had my son at 40. It was fine. I think things happen when you need them. So just be patient.
If you could go back in time and have a conversation with your younger self, what would you tell him?
I would tell him that the desire to have material possessions, to compete in that very artificial and empty world is a waste of time, it's useless, and it's very negative. And that to look for relationships, learn about your fellow people and find out just how different and how much alike we all are.
That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments below what your greatest takeaway is after hearing these interviews, and I'll see you in the next one.